Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. Where are we? Holy cow, we are back on the old family farm, Gwen's old family farm. So I got a call from Sister Gwen, and she reached out and said, "Hey, could use some help? Kind of in a bind. Had a little accident, and could use some assistance. Got some oats that we need to harvest." And I told her I'd swing by and give her a hand. Why not? I haven't seen Sister Gwen in a while. Some things on the farm have stayed the same, and some things on the farm have changed. As you can see, I don't know where she picked up this monstrosity. She said it's something that her and Tiny built. Apparently her and Tiny have been spending quite a bit of time together. No, it's not romantic, I guess. It is just, I don't really know what you'd call it, if I'm being honest with you. I don't even know if I want to know what you'd call it. But, I guess better to get along than not, right? So I was just taking a cruise over to the store. Gwen is at the store. She can mind the store in her condition. I'll tell you a little bit more about what happened with old Gwen. I actually quite like it. Not a bad thing. It kind of looks like a cross between something the Munsters would have. Maybe like a Munsters farm vehicle, you know? She, since we have been gone, I see some things have changed. One thing is Gwen picked herself up a new truck. Hey, you know what? It works, right? Actually, not too bad. I see some things are still around. She kept the old John Deere around, but I see that she has made some changes. She got rid of the Massey. She got rid of the Ford. Our duck buddies are still around. That's good. She hasn't killed them off yet. She did pick up a new John Deere harvester. It looks like we've got a, what is this thing? A 7700 turbo. We'll see how good this performs out in the field. She's got a couple Parker gravity wagons. Not too shabby. One of my favorites right here, 4240. Looks like a pretty nice tractor. She's picked up on the side as well. Other than that, pretty much status quo at the farm. I mean, she's sold and bought. She said that she enjoys doing that kind of thing. So I guess she makes a little money on the side. Her and Tiny refurbish, you know. What do they call that? Flip? They flip tractors. Oh, I can only imagine how many friends they've made when they sell those quality products. Holy cow. So anyways, I think we should get after it. I'll let you know what's going on with Gwen, and no big worries. She's fine. She'll recover. I warned her about going hunting with Tiny. She didn't listen. Now she knows why I warned her against it. But let's get after this. Let's get after these oats. She's been doing, I guess she's been taking care, you know, if you remember, we left her with some horses. That was kind of my final farewell present. I know we left on kind of a cliffhanger. You all probably thought I was dead, that Gwen had actually killed me to take over the farm. It turns out it was all my fault. I got on the horse, slipped off the other side, and fell off and concussed myself pretty badly. Gwen actually had nothing to do with the accident, believe it or not. In fact, Gwen got me to the local doctor pretty quickly, and I ended up being fine. Completely blacked out. Don't remember most of what happened. Needless to say, I was glad Gwen was there for once in my life. So what happened to Gwen? Well, here's the thing with here's the thing with Gwen. She's a smart cookie. you could say she's had a history of being influenced. In fact, our parents would often say Gwen's a good girl, she's just hanging out with the wrong crowd. Yeah, one of those. Well, I guess Tiny came over. Tiny's gotten her into so much stuff. I guess they're still doing Tiny's woodland fried woodland animal deliveries. I guess that's actually going pretty well. I guess one of the big sellers, indeed, is fried woodland squirrel. I've heard it's a little gamey, a little fatty, but very tasty. They deep fry it in canola oil. In fact, canola oil that is produced right here on this farm. So they are really starting to spread their enterprising wings, old Gwen and Tiny. So you've got, I don't think they thought it through. Oh boy. I don't think they thought it through far enough though, because fried squirrel has gotten so popular on their menu that they're having to harvest squirrels, so to speak, a lot more than they thought they were going to, and they're starting to run out of squirrels. I told them, if you're gonna go hunting, you got to make sure you keep the population stable. You can't just go to town and shoot everything in sight and expect it to maintain itself. But so they've kind of gradually gone further and further out. But one of their selling points is the canola oil they use to fry the squirrel meat is here on the farm, and the squirrels are also local to Santa Fe Springs. So you've got local squirrels and you've got homegrown canola oil. Just talking about it. Ooh, sorry, I bumped the mic. Just talking about it is making me remember why I decided to give up the farm to Gwen and move on. But anyways, they were out last week, I guess, doing some hunting. They weren't having a lot of luck, I guess, finding squirrels, bringing home enough for the next week's orders. And Tiny decided that since squirrels live in trees, that they needed to, him and Gwen needed to also hunt from trees. And mind you, not like tree stands like you would do safely with deer hunting and stuff. They just started climbing trees and sitting in on branches, hoping to pick off squirrels as they could see them. Unfortunately, Gwen has gained a few pounds since we last left. Tiny's no lightweight either. Tiny's probably pushing easily a deuce and a half, probably more like 3, 3 plus. Gwen's not nearly that big, but she's also no lightweight anymore. Sorry, Gwen. A lot of junk in the trunk, as they say. So, yeah, oh boy. Gwen unfortunately found a branch that didn't quite hold her weight and took a little bit of a tumble. Like I said, she'll be fine. She just I think she hurt her shoulder. Nothing broke, just some sprains. And unfortunately though, because the way she hurt her shoulder, it's really uncomfortable for her to sit in a combine or a tractor. And the doctor told her, I think she also darn near broke her ankle as well. So doctor's telling her to stay off her feet, rest everything. And so I told her I'd come and help her out. What else are brothers for, right? Of course, Tiny was perfectly fine. He did the old fireman's carry, I guess. Scooped up Gwen and brought her back for medical attention. Of course, Tiny is one of Santa Fe Springs. He's on the first responders team. So I guess he's had some medical training. I guess. So that might be good that he was around, actually. Oh boy. So needless to say, their fried squirrel and other woodland animals delivery service has slowed down. Tiny is not able to keep up with the demand at the moment. I heard their squirrel pizza is excellent. My understanding is it is, I guess they pair it with some gorgonzola cheese, and I guess it's just quite tasty. That's what I'm being told. But it's good to see things are still functioning and still going on and happening on the old family farm, that she hasn't burnt the place down. I honestly almost wholeheartedly expected her at this point to have sold the farm, but she's taken to farming something awful, and I'm happy for her. Very happy for her. In fact, I would say she's even advanced the farm past what we had even accomplished since we were here. Not a bad John Deere tractor or John Deere combine that she's picked up here, I'd say. Did herself pretty well here. As far as the horses go, I guess she's looking into getting into breeding and selling. Her and Tiny believe that they have created a new species of horse. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but they believe they have, through the past few years of trials, that they have come up with a horse that is supposed to be 20% 20%, what word did they use? Robust than the normal horse. I don't know what they mean by that. I don't know if it's lifespan, strength, speed, or whatever it might be. Apparently, along the way, while they were doing their experimenting, there were some catastrophic failures. I didn't want to know anything about that. I don't know what that means if you're breeding horses and you have catastrophic failures. I don't know. I don't want to know a lot of those kind of details. Looks like we've got some oats coming through the back end of the header there, but we'll ignore that. Overall, not a bad model. Not a bad little John Deere combine. A decent capacity too. That's kind of nice. Not having to unload every couple rounds. She said after I left, they had a couple of bad seasons with storms and hail and whatnot, but overall, she's had pretty good success. I guess for a while, Tiny was renting a room in the house, but she said they just couldn't get along. Their differences were too big to be roommates, so she kicked Tiny out. Betty Lou, however, has still yet to be seen. Tiny showed up one day. As you might remember, Tiny and Betty Lou were MIA for quite a while. In fact, many people, including myself, thought that they had been either arrested by the government for trespassing at Area 51, or they were simply abducted by aliens. It turns out they just got lost in the desert for about 6 years. They lived on scorpions, beetles, snake, and whatever else they could find. Tiny was able to perfect some recipes that he was hoping to do anyways. So yeah, I don't know what all came out of that. Odd thing is, Tiny came back, Betty Lou didn't. So basically, Tiny and Gwen run the store now. Tiny refuses to speak of Betty Lou. We don't know if if they had a falling out, or if she, quite frankly, is buried somewhere in the desert. It's really hard to know for sure. And most people aren't really too interested in finding out. Curiously enough, Tiny, without Betty Lou, is actually his personality, I guess, has really come out and is shining. Betty Lou apparently really held him back socially. And without Betty Lou here, he's been able to make a lot more friends. People have warmed up to Tiny quite a bit. That's almost a perfect fit, isn't it? We just about got that whole combine in one wagon. So, yeah, maybe it all worked out for the best. You know, maybe it all just worked out for the best. Let's see what we got here. We've got, is this another field of oats, it looks like? I think Gwen told me to just go ahead and silo them up, and she'll take care of feeding the horses or Tiny will take care of feeding the horses. I guess that's one of his responsibilities that Gwen has given him. Tiny actually is I guess part-time employed by Gwen here on the farm. The cows are doing well, I understand, as too, which is always good to hear. She's been taking care of them. The sheep, I guess, have done quite well. She said that she's been able to get some pretty good money on the market for the wool from the sheep. Apparently, now, this is what Gwen tells me, is since Tiny is an employee, part-time employee on the farm here, one of his chores was to milk the cows. I guess they did buy some milk cows. I know that we were focusing on beef cattle, but I guess she picked up some heifers. I don't know my cow terminology. I just like saying heifer. It's a fine-looking heifer. But evidently, one of Tiny's jobs was to milk the cows. And they've got a refrigeration facility that they take the milk to there at the store, so it can be picked up and processed and whatnot. Well, for a couple of weeks, Gwen said that she wasn't getting checks from the company that purchased the milk. at first she just thought they might be, you know, behind or whatever, but after a couple weeks, Gwen was like, what's the deal? So she called up the company that buys the milk, and they were like, yeah, we've been stopping by and there hasn't been any milk. You know, so obviously we're not gonna, you know, pay you. We're not getting any milk. We just thought you either stopped doing it, or maybe you were having problems with the cows or something. Who knows? And Gwen's like, what? That can't be. So she, you know, gives Tiny a ring, and she's like, Tiny, dude, what are you doing, man? Are you milking the cows like you're supposed to be every day? And Tiny's like, yes, absolutely, 100%. No questions asked. And Gwen's like, all right. Well, what's going on? There's no milk. And Tiny's like, I don't know. They're not giving any milk. I go out there, I check them, and there's no milk. He's like, it's like very little. Like almost next to nothing. And Gwen's like, man, this is really weird. I wonder if they're sick or what's going on. So the next day, Gwen asked Tiny if she could go with him for milking chores and see what's happening. And so Tiny comes over to the house and has his truck, and he walks out to his truck and is starting to get into the truck. And Gwen's like, Tiny, why are you getting into the truck? The cows are like right there. They're like right next to the across from the house. And Tiny gave her one of these, you know, the look, you know, like that bewildered look, like, huh? And she's like, yeah, the cows are right there, Tiny. They're right in front of us. Then no, they're not. Cows are like on the other side of town. And immediately, of course, Gwen realized the issue. That was, she never actually showed Tiny what a cow was. And he had been trying to milk the horses. Without getting into too much detail, we'll just say that's how their horse breeding that's how their horse breeding started. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes, you know, that's how great things start. You know, a mistake is made. You know, maybe that's how certain, you know, things are. You know, you're trying to make a really tasty drink, and you accidentally put in club soda instead of, I don't know, what would be a good one? I don't know, club soda, and you accidentally put in Sprite maybe or something like that, and you taste it and you're like, wait a minute, that's not club soda, but this is really good. This is like the next huge thing. Well, maybe that's what happened here. You know, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe Tiny actually ended up with a stroke of brilliance, and no pun intended, and due to his complete ignorance, with not knowing that what cows are, he either just flat out doesn't know what a cow is, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that would be better for him, and to argue for him and not against him. But yeah, ever since then, you know, they both had a good laugh, and they realized that they actually could start a new business, and that's where their horse breeding started. And you know, who knows what Tiny's gonna screw up next that might end up being something of great significance. Some people just stumble their way into stuff, you know. They just somehow Forrest Gump their way through life, and they find a way to make it and survive. I've known people like that. Like, not a lot of people, but I've known a couple people who you look at and you're like, I don't even know how you, like, honestly. And they're not disabled. These are just regular folk, and you just look at them and go, man, how do you actually survive day to day? And maybe we've all known people like that are just kind of, you know, they make it. They're carefree, simple people. Oh boy, yeah. I'm almost jealous of people like that to a certain extent. It would actually be kind of nice to be able to, I mean, they're probably, you know, stress levels are super low because they just really don't take on stress. They're just like going through the motions. Zero worries in the world. Well, let's get this field of oat wound up for old Gwen. She'll be happy. There was no way she was going to let Tiny anywhere near her farming equipment. Their little Munster mobile that we were driving in there at the beginning, that's the only thing she lets Tiny operate on the farm, and that's why they put a little wagon on the back, because he needed something to be able to haul, you know, grass bales over to the sheep. And I'll tell you what, if I were those sheep, I would be thanking God every day that Tiny didn't think they were cows. Yeah, those sheep have no idea how close they came to the worst 2 weeks of their lives. Not to harp on it, but Gwen said that she did notice, she thought she noticed that the horses did seem to be in really, really good spirits for those 2 weeks. So, I don't know. Go figure. This is a really nice little combine. Do we have air conditioning? I don't know if we have air conditioning. I can't really tell. That I see that's kind of climate controls up there. I think we do have air conditioning maybe up there. Not bad. Doesn't look like we've got tunes though. We'd have to install a radio or something in here. Maybe get a bracket for an iPad. Yeah. All right, let's get this thing unloaded. I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. A couple cartfuls, and we'll get it over to the silo for Gwen. And get this taken care of. Come on, baby. There you go. Get our dump on. So anything else news-wise? I don't think so. I think things are kind of, you know, that's one thing with you know, small towns like this, you know, they don't really change much. You kind of just, every day is kind of like a Groundhog Day situation, but it's looking like she's keeping the place up well. I honestly can't believe that her and Tiny get along as much as they do. That's a good thing. I think Betty Lou being gone has probably been the best thing for Tiny. You know, sometimes you're overshadowed. You know, Betty Lou is his older sister, and sometimes you know, you're overshadowed by older siblings, and you don't feel like you can stand out. And now Tiny has a chance to really develop as a fine young man. All right, let's get the old John Deere out of the way here. Did a nice job. Looks like Gwen's maintaining her equipment pretty well. this is nice. Very, very nice. Alright, let's go get these gravity wagons dumped off. Ooh, that sounds good, doesn't it? It does indeed. Gwen's farm. I see she's kept her custom license plates. Beacons for safety, of course. Even flashers. We don't want to farm dangerous. What kind of horn does this thing have? Oh, no, that's not the horn. Yeah, that's not good. Thought I taught Gwen better. Alright, Gwen, where do you want this stuff dumped? I think we're going to put it in the second silo here, maybe. If we can scooch close enough to it. Am I on the right side? I'm on the correct side. There we go. So there's oats. Actually, is that the... Yeah, there we go. I don't think these things unload very quickly. To see if that wheel turns. I looked up Parker gravity wagons. They make it looks like on their website, gravity wagons, grain, what do they call them, grain tenders, something like that. Grain carts, and seed tenders. Looks like they're out of, if I remember right, I think it's in Indiana or Illinois, one of the two. I can't remember now. Oh, still going? Emptied? Oh, I didn't notice if that wheel turns. Shoot, I missed that. Let's hop in here. Come on, baby. Oh, I need to... There we go. Alright, let's see if we get some wheel turning action. Oh, it kind of... Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. Very cool. Nice touch by the mod author, for sure. I like these gravity wagons. Kind of simple devices. Very American. What I see a lot of in my neck of the woods, I would say, are gravity wagons. I'd say these are probably the most common grain carts I see, at least. Both the side discharge. I think I see quite a few of them that also just have the straight bottom, out the bottom discharge. Very nice. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. I was hoping the Parker... The only thing about these mods, I really like this mod, is that not color selectable. It'd be kind of nice if the mod author did that, but I believe this is the official Parker color, so maybe they just wanted it left as that. Alright, we can kill our beacons, kill our flashers, turn off the old John Deere. Let's take a look at Gwen's truck. I'm curious about this. Well, she keeps it clean. I'll give her credit for that. The inside looks like it's had a much nicer life than the outside. Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. You could definitely go up in the woods with this thing. Very nice. Yeah, very, very nice. Very 1980s. Gotta love it. Old school trucks. I really do love the way these trucks look. I mean, I remember when the I remember the first time I ever saw that new Dodge Ram style when it first came out, you know, that had like the slope deal by the headlights. It kind of looked like a semi. Everybody was like, man, that looks like a semi truck. I remember seeing that for the first time and thinking that is one of the coolest trucks I've ever seen in my life. But I love these old style boxy 1970s and 80s pickups. They're just, no offense to the new ones, but they just look like They just look so durable and tough to me. No frills. Get her done. Oh, not a bad interior sound there. I think that's gonna do it. That's all I'm gonna take care of for Gwen. She can take care of the rest on her own. I might come back and take care of this wheat field for her. I'll see how she's feeling, but that's also going to do it for our revisit to the old family farm. I hope you all have an amazing Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care of yourselves. And we will be forward in time and back on tranquil waters tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on the old family farm once again. You all take care of yourselves. Bye for now.